guys, it's from Mum's Review and welcome back to another Doctor Who YouTube video. I got halfway through the video and my mum decided, oh, it'll be now perfect time to chat to me anyway. If you've never seen my face on your screens before, please click that big red subscribe button down below and click notifications bell to get notifications every single time I upload, because if you don't, then you're not going to know when I upload and stuff. So it's really, really complicated. So yeah, my mum was talking to me and I was like, I'm kind of in the middle of the filming video. I'm now re-recording this. Anyway, I'm going to do some honourable mentions at the end of the classic series of the modern series of what I'm watching, the 10th Doctor, because I feel like it's quite good. Anyway, let's get on with the video before I start rambling. Because the sooner I get into the video, the sooner I can do those honourable mentions, the sooner I can finish. The third incarnation of the Doctor, has played by Jon Pertwee, was departure from previous two versions. Something of a dandy, he was always elaborate dressed with cravats, felt, smoking jackets and capes, but this doesn't prevent him from getting his hands dirty. He often seems working on mechanics of the TARDIS or constructing new gadgets by himself and UNIT. He knitted out his own vehicle, first Bessie, then the Whomobile. And is just as skilled an engineer as a scientist. Unlike other versions of the Doctor, he was more willing to engage in combat, being the master of Rajun and Kido, or what the hell. By the way, guys, this is not my list. This is top 10 third Doctor episodes. By the way, this is not my list. This is just a list I picked offline because I'm really bad at choosing episodes, so I just thought I'd pick a list offline and just read it offline. I hope that's okay. I hope you guys understand that this is not my list. This is just a list I found online that someone else has picked. Okay, number 10. Death to the Daleks. Sarah Jane and the Doctor are on their way to a relaxing vacation, or holiday. I should probably said holiday to that. When the TARDIS gets stuck by an energy drain that forces them onto a cold, dark planet, a group of mariners are also stranded, and they find that an electricity near the planet is being drained by an ally, artificial intelligence controlled ancient city that's the once powerful local inhabitants have built at the height of their civilization. When the Daleks arrive and have their weapons disabled, the Doctor is forced into an uneasy alliance with his old enemies to get them off the planet. That's at the top, that's kind of at the bottom of the list. But guys, these are the top 10. These are just what I'm reading out on the list. This is not my list. If it was my list, I'd read you something different. Also guys, if you ever want me to do a list of my top 10 Doctor stories of each Doctor, then I'll happily do that. I'll happily do a list of my own. Number 9, Spearheads from Space. Introducing a new incarnation of the Doctor is always going to be a tricky episode. Writers and performers walking a tightrope in maintaining the tone and community of the show while setting a new direction for the series. While the Brig needed to be convinced by the Doctor that he is the same person he met before escaping from UNIT to tackle the invasion of the living plastic Artons, introducing the new UNIT, the Doctor's imprisonment on Earth, the new companion Liz, and colour is a lot to throw into the story, but it sits well. We know the third Doctor dressed immaculate. We also know that the 12th Doctor copied his very similar dress. Like Jon Pertwee wore ruffle shirts, beautiful coloured lapels. This was the first Doctor going into colour. Initially, he was the last Doctor coming out of black and white. First Doctor into colour initially. That's kind of how it worked, because not a lot of people had coloured TVs when he came on screen. So some people only had coloured screens, and some people still had black and white TVs until they kind of were more affordable. So yeah, and John and Peter Capaldi wore a red cape at first, which was a nice callback to Pertwee, in my opinion. By the way, guys, I've got a drink here, so I always have a drink during videos because it's very important to have a drink when you're doing videos. You're talking a lot. Anyway, number 8, the claws of axons. Here's an episode whose strong ideas almost became martyred by the initial of special effects available. It's pretty clear that they're still getting the hang of using the blue screen and green screen, but looking fast, that is a fantastic concept. The axons land on Earth with an offer to trade technology for minerals. The offer is, of course, too good to be true. The Axon ship is a giant living organism that needs to be absorbed the life force of other beings, and even axons themselves are just an extension of a living ship. Throw in the master, and you've got a solid episode. Yes, you've got a solid serial right there. They threw in the master in that episode. Did anyone notice? If you've not got BritBox, you definitely should get it. But if you have got BritBox and you've watched the Third Doctor, you know the Master taunted the Doctor the whole time he was exiled on it. Like, I don't think there's a single episode in the Third Doctor's time that didn't have the Master. Number 7, the Green Death. It may lose points for featuring the departure of Jo Grant, one of the longest running and most entertaining companions. Yeah, she's one of the longest running, along with Jamie, Sarah Jane, Tegan, Amy, Clara, and Yaz. Featured on the show. But it gives her such a good final. That is okay in the end. A Welsh mining company reports some strange going on when some of the workers begin turning bright green and dying. Things are further complicated when the bosses of the company start acting strangely. The glowing greenness and giant maggots that turn up play second fiddle to the evil computer that ally that runs the show, putting it pretty ahead of its time, science fiction wise, and the relationship between Jo and the environmental scientist is handled well. By the way, guys, I'm only halfway through the Third Doctor serial, so I haven't really watched The Green Death, but I did watch the end of it though. I always like to have a taster episode, so normally I like watch the last episode before I do the rest. I've got a fun fact to share with you guys in a bit, at the end. Number 6, Carnival of Monsters. Everyone enjoys a good sense of mystery with their science fiction. The Doctor and Jo Grant take advantage of their newfound freedom to take the TARDIS for a spin, only to miss their mark and wind up on an old cruise ship. Unusual behaviour by passengers and the appearance of a dinosaur in the nearby waters indicating that something is amiss. The boat and everyone on it is trapped in a microscope, a device that shrinks down various creatures for display purposes. In this case, a pair of canaries have put together a display feature, some of the most dangerous creatures in the universe, and the Doctor is trapped in the middle of it. So some of the most dangerous creatures in the universe. That rules it down to pretty much just the Cybermen and Daleks. I mean, I don't know what's more dangerous than that. Fun fact, put a fun fact here now. The Daleks never really saw the Doctor as an enemy at the very beginning. With William Hartnell's Doctor, the Daleks only became the Doctor's greatest enemy when he started defeating them, when he started telling them who he was. At first, the Doctor found them incredibly fascinating. Little fact for you. By the way, I'll try and put a fact in every week if you guys want. Number 5, the Demons. This story begins on a slightly more unusual tone, with an archaeological dig in a small English town, unleashing supernatural entitled When the Doctor investigates, he finds the Master is involved, posting as the new minister for the village. What is revealed is that the Master is attempting to invoke an ancient alien who has taken the hand in moving the evolution of mankind along at key times in history. Its demon appearance features in the ancient texts in many different cultures. Full of big ideas and throughout provoking concepts, it is among the best the Doctor has to offer. By the way, that episode was filmed in Suffolk, believe it or not. When they say English town, they mean Suffolk. I'm not sure which English town, but it was definitely filmed in Suffolk, that's all I know. Number 4, Terror of the Artrons. The Doctor has already faced the Artrons, living plastic, upon his arrival on Earth in his new form. This second battle that occurs not long after is a much more exciting one. One simple reason. The Master. This Time Lord has been driven insane by looking into the time vortex, and like the Doctor, hijacked a TARDIS to see through his plan of taking over the universe. Simple yes, but so stylishly handled, the Ultra Cool Master provided some of the best episodes on this era by providing the Doctor with a worthy challenge and plenty of sharp dialogue. The episode also features the debut of Jo Grant, one of the best companions the Doctor will have. I wouldn't say that. I think the best companion the Doctor has ever had has got to be Martha. She was a medical student. The Doctor liked her intellect and let her carry on travelling with him. She rejected him twice. I know the reasons why. The reason why she rejected him once is because she'd saved the Earth and she wanted to spend more time with the family, and she was also sick at the fact the Doctor wouldn't look at the way she wanted to be looked. But she rejected him a second time when she called him back to Earth because she was like, hey Doc, I've enjoyed our adventures. I enjoyed our adventures when we were together, but you got me a job at UNIT and I want to focus on that. That was the reason why she rejected him the second time. She was like, hey Doc, I enjoyed our little adventure today, but I don't want to do this anymore. Like, because you know the TARDIS kidnaps her. Not intentionally, you know, but before Martha walks out the door, the TARDIS door closes and the TARDIS just takes off randomly. So Martha's kind of like, before Martha knows it, she's leaped back into her old life with the Doctor, like travelling the universe with him on the planet. So yeah, she does one adventure with him in series 4. She does one adventure with him, which is nice, but like, I mean, come on, the TARDIS didn't really give her a choice. She was about to go out the door and the TARDIS just like took off with her in it. So technically Martha didn't really have a choice. But she rejected him again because she was like, hey Doc, I really enjoyed our adventure today, but I'm better for having been away. That's kind of what she was pointing at. And she was focused on her job at UNIT, so she wanted to kind of remain defending the Earth. Anyway, number 3, the Time Warrior. It's certainly a sad moment when Jo Grant took her leave of the Doctor to start a new life with the less timey-wimey adventuring. Fortunately, the Doctor found himself a new companion in the guise of Sarah Jane Smith, a young female reporter who sneaks her way into UNIT's facility to get her story. Here she meets the Doctor, and while snooping around, finds herself in the TARDIS. When it goes back through time, when the Doctor and Sarah Jane find in medieval England is a Sontaran warrior, part of the race of aliens who are dedicated to being the best soldiers possible, one has found themselves trapped in Earth's past, where they are abducted scientists through time to repair their ship. A solid time travel mystery and imaginative. New enemies are made all the more interesting by the new companion initially believing the Doctor to be the villain. I watched that episode and Sarah Jane did initially think the Doctor was a villain. So anyway, the 3 Doctors. Number 2, the 3 Doctors. Expectations for the collaboration between the 3 original Doctors, Pertwee, Troughton and Hartnell, were certainly running high, although the episode could have been a gimmick. Fortunately, it delivers the goods by creating a great dynamic between the different incarnations of the character and giving the audience a mortal villain. Omega, a lost time travel technology has been trapped on the other side of the black hole, where he has been losing its mind. It's a great conflict, but isn't nearly as much fun as seeing Troughton and Pertwee bickering with each other. Whoever decides these two would spend half their screen time arguing about who gets to steer the TARDIS is a genius, and it is priceless. I've seen that episode. It is literally the third and second Doctors just bicker. They're like, the third Doctor's like, I want to pilot the TARDIS. The second Doctor's like, no, I want to do it. I want to do it. And they bicker about, and then the third Doctor and the second Doctor's like, goodbye, fancy pants. I'm referring to this, the fifth Doctors, but still. The five Doctors together, the second and third Doctors is like, obviously the second Doctor's like, it's good to know my future's in safe hands, and then the second Doctor to the third Doctor's like, goodbye, fancy pants. The third Doctor then says, Scarecrow. And number one, this is the biggest thing. For the most of the third Doctor's era, time travel didn't play a major role in the stories after the Time Lords punished his theft of the TARDIS by confining him to Earth. He spent most of his time assisting the unit in their investigations. The episode proves that they still could produce some of the best time travel written around by creating a paradox that is thought-provoking and is exciting a British policy. See what he assumes is a ghost. Upon investigating the Doctor and Joe Grant, discovering that a ghost is from the future, where meeting the politician is attending the day will lead to the World War III, from which Earth is open to investigation by the Daleks. Invasion by the Daleks, Members of the Human Resilience travel back in time to prevent this meeting from taking place. The kicker comes from the Doctor discovering that the events lead to World War III are actually the actions of time travellers while they are trying to prevent it. Mixing in a threat of a Dalek concept makes the conscious of the situation very clear, especially as they didn't initially attack themselves, but it was the result of human actions. The result of solid and imaginative writing makes this the best of the third Doctor series. By the way, it's called The Day of the Daleks, if I didn't already mention that. I probably did, though. So yeah, that's the top 10 third Doctor episodes. I hope you enjoyed this video. I definitely enjoyed making it. Although I don't like how my mum turned on the radiator because it's bloody boiling and I'm, as you can see, a bit wet and just not really nice, and now I've got a headache because the heating's on. But yeah, make sure you click the subscribe button down below and click the notifications bell so you get notifications every single time I upload. And if you want to get BritBox, this is my discount code is Phoebe25. Basically, you get 25% off the first month and you get 3 months completely free, as I'm now working for BritBox part-time. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed making it. Enjoy all your Doctor Who's. Enjoy the Whoniverse. Good Alonzi.